not executing very important industry. Guest of honor, Mr. Vanlalchhuanga, IA&AS, Principal Secretary Finance Department, Government of Mizoram, is reaching in 8-10 minutes. So he's on the way, and with due permission of our Vice-Chancellor and then this our guest of honor, that we are now to start. So I extend my warmest welcome on behalf of the Department of Public Administration and on behalf of the Dean School of Social Sciences. I extend a very heartiest warm welcome to our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka. Then I also extend my warm welcome to Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, former Centenary Chair, Public Administration Department of Home Science, University of Calcutta, and Professor Srinibas Pathi, Senior Professor, Department of Public Administration. Then Ms. Muthulakshmi, Professor, Convener and Head, Department of Public Administration, and other dignitaries of the dais, and my senior colleague and junior colleagues, and the dear students and research scholars, and ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to chair this very inaugural session. And this is a very unique, and especially after post-COVID-19. So this kind of activity is not possible for almost 3 years. Then after 3 years, we are resuming once again, reactivating the process or the speed or the thing that has been done by the university and the Department of Public Administration. So I will not have much in saying. So let me invite our Head of Department, Professor A. Muthulakshmi, Convener of the seminar and Head of Department of Public Administration, Mizoram University, to give a welcome address along with the felicitation of our guests, please.
Thank you, Chairperson, Professor Lalneihzovi. Very good morning and warm greetings to you all. Respected Chairperson, Professor Lalneihzovi, Department of Public Administration, currently Dean School of Social Sciences. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you all on the occasion of the International Seminar on Recent Trends in Public Administration from G20 Perspectives. I, on behalf of the organizing committee and also on my behalf, I welcome Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, the Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Mizoram University, as a chief guest to inaugurate this function. Incidentally, he is representing the Northeast India. So under his leadership, Mizoram University is expecting to achieve further progress in academics. Welcome, sir. And then I welcome Professor Srinibas Pathi, Senior Professor. He is our keynote speaker. Welcome, sir. And I think I don't need to give more detail about sir. Everybody knows. Thank you, sir. And I would like to welcome guest of honor. He is on the way, but still I welcome Lalneihzovi, Indian Audit and Account Service, Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Mizoram. I welcome sir before he reads the venue. And Professor Mohammed Zahir Kaur, the Vice-Chancellor of Metropolitan University, Bangladesh. Initially, he accepted our request. Then on Friday, due to his some unavoidable circumstances, he declined. Then I contacted Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, the Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Choudhary Devi Lal University, and also the President of Indian Public Administration Association and a former Professor of Public Administration in Kurukshetra University, Haryana. I told him everything about this international resource person, and he immediately accepted my request. So this is how it is happening today. Welcome, sir. Please online. Please, sir, can you show your face? Yeah. And then I would like to welcome our special invitee, Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, former Centenary Chair of Public Administration, University of Calcutta. He received Life Achievement Award from the Embassy in the month of December 2022, and a day before yesterday, he came from Kazakhstan after his attending international conference, and he has been rendering his service to our department in various capacities. Please welcome, sir. And then I would like to welcome Professor Alex B. Brillantes, Emeritus Professor and former Dean Pu P.C Scientist, National College of Public Administration and Governance, University of Philippines, as a special invitee. And one day before, he accepted my request as special invitee, and I told him that here in Mizoram network issue and then timing change of timing from Philippines and Indian time is varies, and then the weather condition. Then he told me that okay, I will make video, I will send it to the mail. You can play on the inaugural session. So he sent me, we will play it now. And also I welcome Dr. Laltanpuii Ralte, Associate Professor, Dr. Irina Devi and Dr. Babuji, all are in the organizing committee. They are working so hard for this seminar. I welcome. And also I welcome all deans and heads of various departments, research scholars, students and staff for attending this function. And I welcome Mr. Lalneihzovi, Deputy Director, UDNPA, Government of Mizoram, for participating this function. And also I thank you so much for your sponsorship. I already welcome sir before you come. Again I am welcoming you sir for thank you sir. And then since our VC is new to all of us, I thought of saying a little bit more about our department. The Department of Public Administration under Nehru Mizoram campus was established in the year 1985, and till to date our department is the only department is offering PG and PhD program at university level in northeastern region. And currently there are some of private universities also offering PA at PG level. And with regard to the faculties, Professor A.K. Sarma was the founder Department of Public Administration and also founder VC of Mizoram University. He also donated 2 lakh rupees for meritorious students in the name of Bharati Sarma Award. And also Professor R.N. Prasad, former head of Public Administration and the Dean of School of Social Sciences. He also donated 5 lakhs for both Political Science Department and Public Administration for meritorious in the name of Santi Prasad Award for meritorious student and for enrollment lecture. And Professor C. Lalkino, former head of Public Administration and the controller of examinations. So I remember all of them on the occasion, on this occasion, and I respect them the most, though they are not present here, but I got their blessings from WhatsApp over phone. Thank you so much, sir. At present, we have two senior professors, Professor Srinibas Pathi and Professor Lalneihzovi, and 2 professors, Professor Lalneihzovi and myself, and 2 associate professors, 2 assistant professors. Total we have 8 faculty members. And then with regard to our department activities, apart from teaching and research activities, we also have a departmental library from IIP, Indian Institute of Public Administration, along with Mizoram Regional Branch is functioning in the department. And we have Administrative Studies National Refuge Annual Journal with ISSN, and we have been published since 2015, which was initiated during Professor Lalneihzovi headship. And we have been organizing general seminar, that is student-centric activity for the students on every Monday. So this is another important academic activity, I would say proudly. We started from the beginning. And then so far we have 39 PhD awarded, and we have nearly 50 PhD scholars pursuing their research, and also we have one international scholar. His name is David, pursuing his PhD, and he came from Osakati town, Namibia. And then I would like to say some few words about our seminar. This seminar is sponsored by Mizoram University and supported by Mizoram Rural Bank and UDNPA Department and Rural Development Department and Samakira Sirsa, Mizoram State Project Office. I received their sanctioned letter, but money yet to come. So then regarding abstracts, we received 69 abstracts, out of which 63 of them got registered. And there are 10 technical sessions will be conducted both offline and online. And each technical session is chaired by the eminent chair and co-chair. Then coming to the introduction to the theme of the seminar, the main aim of this seminar is to understand the dynamics of shifts happening in the field of public administration since 1887 till the date. So the public administration have been facing a lot of issues, challenges, problems to implement those programs, policies and schemes to meet the basic needs and requirements of the people across the world. So therefore, we have decided to have an international seminar on this topic so that some concrete solutions will come out which will be useful for improving the governance and administration to achieve the overall development of citizens all over the world. And also to discuss priority areas like innovative models of public policy and the use of IT, information technology in public administration like e-governance, and then improving access, citizens' access to quality public services, etc. So I hope this seminar will be fruitful to all the academicians, practitioners, government officials, researchers, students from all over the world to share their views, ideas and discuss emerging issues and recent trends, challenges, and then they all can suggest a way forward thinking in the discipline of public administration. So I wish all the best for all the paper presenters and congratulations. I welcome each and everyone once again. So with these few words, I will hand over the proceedings to the chairperson.
Can you just
This is from Tamil Nadu, from Kanchipuram. We call it Konnada.
special in order?
For the felicitation of the guest of honor, Vanlalchhuanga IA&AS, may I call on Professor Lalneihzovi, Dean, School of Social Sciences.
For the felicitation of the chairperson, Professor Lalneihzovi, Dean, School of Social Sciences, may I call upon Dr. Laltanpuii Ralte.
To felicitate the keynote speaker, Professor Srinibas Pathi, may I call on Professor Lalneihzovi, Senior Professor of the Department. Pathi Sirsa. Let's call Dr. Sadashivam to felicitate the special invitee, Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta. To felicitate Professor Lalneihzovi, Dr. Ningthoujam, Irina Ningthoujam. Dr. Babuji to kindly felicitate Dr. T. Sadashivam. To felicitate the head of department, Professor A. Muthulakshmi. May I call on Professor Lalneihzovi, Dean, School of Social Sciences.
To facilitate Dr. Laltanpuii Ralte, may I call upon Professor A. Muthulakshmi, the head of department. Thank you, ma'am. To facilitate Dr. Ningthoujam Irina Devi, may I call upon Professor Lalneihzovi. To facilitate Dr. Babuji, Professor Lalneihzovi.
Let's have a photograph.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind gesture of the head of department and for the leader, for the coordinator of the seminar, Professor Emeritus Muthulakshmi, for facilitating our guests, even department presentation. So may I now invite our keynote speaker, Professor Srinibas Pathi.
Thank you, madam. Very good morning to all of you. Esteemed Chairperson, Professor Lalneihzovi, Dean, School of Social Sciences. Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, Vice-Chancellor, Mizoram University. Honorable Guest of Honor, Pu Vanlalchhuanga, Principal Secretary Finance, Government of Mizoram. Special invitee, Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, Professor Ajmer Singh Malik online, Professor Alex online, esteemed Head of the Department, Professor A. Muthulakshmi, Co-Convener, Dr. T. Sadashivam, my colleagues, Dr. Laltanpuii Ralte, Dr. Irina, Dr. Babuji, Professor Lalneihzovi, esteemed guests, deans, heads, faculty members, research scholars, students, and friends. It's an honor to talk about the theme of the seminar for a few minutes. The sub-themes which have been decided by the organizers, they include, among others, digital governance, e-governance, mobile governance, ICT, cyber crime and cyber security, joining the dots between citizens and the government, reduction of poverty, food security, eradication of hunger, public policy, from conceptualization to implementation, feedback, getting reform, and having people's participation in programs, schemes, and governmental activities, leading to citizen engagement. It may be digital, may be non-digital. It also talks about inclusive development and governance, from government to governance to good governance to inclusive governance, and it also talks about how we can make the life of the common people better. Gender and development. It's not about men versus women. It's about men and women and the other. And all these issues, how we can get into the mainstream of development. It talks about environment and ecology, that in 1972 in Helsinki, the UN members, they took a pledge that either we have a common future or no future. And 51 years on, that still continues to be the mainstay, main discourse in development, environment and development, agriculture, green technology. Only yesterday, they started G culture and tourism in Kashmir, where they talk about green tourism. From that particular activity till horticulture, floriculture, and managing the diverse culture of Indian agricultural system, including agro-based industries. It talks about industrial development, MSME, rural and urban development, and the link urban. That the link between rural and urban is urban development. Then, not to forget, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, 17 goals and umpteen number of sub-goals and indicators. Healthcare, as all of us know, that in the post-COVID scenario, healthcare has come to be one of the major activities of any government, because during that time, it is one of the most primary activities, that how to save life, how to give people minimum life, what to talk about good life, and universal healthcare facilities. Public service delivery system, in which we know that how to guarantee service. In India, in some of the states, they have also talked about how we can think of giving to the doorstep of the common people the public service. Then, good practices in public administration in India and outside. These are some of the sub-themes we have decided for this seminar. And coming to the recent trends, let me talk about a few recent trends. Government of India has constituted a committee, national grid, like electricity grid, power grid, national grid for good governance. In that committee, we are few people, including some of the top bureaucrats, seasoned public opinion leaders, and teachers. So what we do, almost every month we have one online. COVID has taught us online. Around 400 to 500 district collectors, deputy commissioners, they come online and they share the trends in public administration. I can share one or two examples. One young lady who has just taken over the collectorship of one of the districts in North India, she was telling that I find anywhere a road is bad, there is no water, and the health center is empty. So I started one WhatsApp campaign, and she openly told that anyone with a photograph, with the suggestion and the concerned department's name, what should be done, give me. And then she was narrating in that online meeting that in one day, 24 hours, I got 2,400 suggestions from people. I could not take up all, but if I could take 24 out of that and solve, that is directly going to the people from public administration to public. That is one of the activities which is being done. And this country also takes pride that young men and women who join public administration, they are into this activity, that how to join the local to the global through local. Think globally and act locally. Then another G20 vertical is infrastructure and IT development. We know that we are sitting in this room. 15 years back, it was nothing. But the infrastructure which came up in Mizoram University, 2008, we shifted from many rented buildings in city to this campus. And because of the infrastructure, we are proud of this university. Same in the country. So many things. Yes, we are the largest country in terms of people, 142 crore people. We are also people with largest democracy. At the same time, we need basic infrastructure in all fields with which public administration is actually into. And what about the participation? All the stakeholders, funding agencies, government, private sector, corporate, mass media, civil society, and citizens per se. When we all come together, this becomes a reality. Another is Culture 20. In G20 we are discussing Culture 20. Culture is the lifeblood of civilization. Without this, we can't proceed. So, it is one of the activities that you might be seeing throughout India. Now there is a resurgence that how can we integrate culture, tourism, practices, customs into administration so that we get one new area of economic activity, that green tourism, and initiatives by which little investment but more human workforce participation. As all of you know, this country, one of the major problems is how to provide job to the largest batch of unemployed, educated people. So here, this brings another challenge for the administration. Then rural and urban development, which I was talking about, that who are the agents, the people? Whenever you might have seen in TV, they say, oh, so many people are using this air conditioner. But that so many is confined to higher side 42 crore. What about 100 crore people who have not seen one air conditioner machine? That is India. We have to talk about urban and rural, and the link is urban, the peri-urban or periphery, which also need to be developed. Then another issue is Startup 20. You know, this country is boasting of unicorn. 100 crore, 101 billion plus, 180 unicorns. But we need 1 crore startups. The people who are on the ground, who are in the grassroots, how can they become the job givers, employment givers through self-employment and providing facility to others, not seeking job. So that is another big issue. Education and research. No country can progress well without education and research. And this is one big area, and our National Policy of Education 2020 is the indicator by which we know that yes, there should be some new dimensions by which one university is coming up. All of you might have heard about it in Meru, multidisciplinary educational and research universities, which will have not our Hon'ble Vice-Chancellor, they will have CEO, a president, and it will function like a corporate entity by which they will be into social, economic, political, scientific and biotechnology research, so that this country can benefit from lab to the land. Then talking about Vigilance 20. I don't know how come, somehow this vigilance thing came to me. My candidate just submitted PhD, the Vigilance Department of Mizoram government. And at the same time, this university has told me, you signed the vigilance certificate. Then looking into the literature, I found G20 countries, all of them together, they are also worried about corruption in public life, corruption in public administration. So vigilance is the watchword. It is not to catch hold of someone who has committed a crime. It's about preventive vigilance. Before it is corruption, let's try to minimize. Like in health, they say it is wellness which is more important than getting cured by a doctor. So be happy, have one apple a day and keep doctor away. Doctor should be very angry. But still, if we have GOBA also, that takes care of our health. So from wellness to healthcare. Then when we talk about, last but not least, Sustainable Development Goals, United Nations. Our aim of this G20 India presidency is one earth, one family, one future. So if that is the case, then we must have sustainable development. Development for today, tomorrow and day after. Because we inherited this world from our forefathers who have built it. No brooding over the past. We have come up to this age because of the sacrifices by so many people who came before us. Today, it's our responsibility to live a better world for the future generation. And if I conclude my speech, I can't avoid Father President Mahatma Gandhi. He always told that if you want to think about public administration or government, see in a queue the last person. If that last person has smile in his or her face, then you are successful. And Gandhiji told that if you want to change the world, be the change you want to see in the world. So this is a small gathering of intellectuals, thinking people. I wish that in these 2 days we will think together, think loudly, think intensely, and come up with some suggestions which will give indications to the public administration today and tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Srinibas Pathi, for your very inclusive keynote address. So may I now kindly invite our guest of honor, Mr. Vanlalchhuanga, IA&AS, Finance Secretary, Principal Secretary, Government of Mizoram, to give his speech. Kindly please.
Professor Lalneihzovi, chairperson of this inaugural session of the seminar. Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, Vice-Chancellor, and other eminent scholars in the dais, special invitees, and all the participants. I feel very honored, at the same time overwhelmed to be with so many scholars. When I have seen a lot of known faces among the participants, and I was invited by lots of my old friends. In the beginning, when they had invited me, I simply had accepted. But I did not know what would be the topic as such. I thought that it would be something like finance type of topic in the seminar. But later on, when I had seen the program, then it became public administration. Then I then asked, why did you invite me in this public administration? A seminar which was never my subject during academic years. But she said that without financial backup, you cannot do any public administration. Then after that, I thought that, okay, since I have very limited knowledge with the financial position of all the G20 countries, I thought it may be better if I share some of the experiences which we had gone through in the recent 2-3 years. Then, if I overshoot a bit of the topic, then there are so many eminent speakers who will lead the discussion later on in the those teams, sub-teams, which we had just listened. One thing which I realized is that belonging to the Indian Audit and Account Service, we have been posted to various places in the country. we had compiled the accounts of the state, then we had audited various organizations, Government of India departments, Government of the state departments, and then we are also assigned to audit UN organizations. What I had realized is that what we perceive from outside is very different when we are actually inside. So being in the audit, we are given recommendations how to improve their administration. And then in their financial aspect also, we are given lots of recommendations. Then from 2017 onwards, I came to the executive side on deputation. Then I realized that it was very difficult to even implement those recommendations which we had given from audit. It was not very easy. But that does not mean that we should not try to improve our functioning and then not try to introduce something which will improve the administration as well as for the benefit of the public. Being in the executive side, this is one thing which I have realized. My way of thinking, my way of looking becomes very different from while I was in the audit. And then when I came to the executive side. And we're coming to the public financial system, public financial administration side. All of us are very well aware that without a backup of finance, you cannot run a smooth and effective administration. For everything which the government is implementing, fund is required. All of us are very well aware of that. And then in academic, broadly, I think all of you might have studied that in the public financial administration, it can be broadly classified into three: the government revenue and expenditure as well as debt management. If a country is having a surplus revenue, then it is very easy to run the administration smoothly. It is very easy to implement various schemes. There's no fiscal deficit issue. You have sufficient resources to take up any schemes which will reduce the inequality among the population in various areas. You can invest for technological improvement and go on and so on and so forth. It is very much easy. And then budget preparation also is easy. It can be fairly accurate and easy to manage the whole financial system. But the problem lies when there's a deficit revenue. When we have a fiscal deficit, then all sorts of challenges come. Here, from the financial side, the biggest challenge is balancing between the demand and the availability of funds, impacted by the actual requirement. One side there is a demand, on the other side there is a financial availability, but all the demand we cannot meet. So we have to prioritize the area where we have to make the spending. If there is a deficit in the resources, then debt management comes to the fore, because we have to take a borrowing. See, a recent trend after the COVID impact, for the country as a whole, as well as many states, especially the northeastern states, which are having a cash crunch states, you can say, the borrowing has increased a lot. Debt management is extremely, you have to be very prudent, I can say. I will not say that I was trying to use what difficult. We should not use that. We should take it as a challenge and then how to overcome it. There are long-term, short-term, I will not go into too much of the details. But there are various types of loan, and then we have to be very prudent in our planning. Which will be required to address the public as a gap source of funding. See, let me cite a few examples. Like open market borrowing, which we take it, you can spend it in any way which you feel. But there are certain type of funding, loan, where you have to take the loan for a specific purpose. And you have to think about whether there's a counterpart funding, and then how much is the interest, when you have to repay, whether you have the capacity to repay. It is not very easy to plan it prudently. When the government is having a deficit to such an extent that it has a problem of even meeting the revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditure means paying your salary, running the administration. That is for managing day-to-day works. So there's no scope for capital expenditure, and then to take new schemes which will benefit the public, or to invest. In that type of thing, we have to take the borrowing. So we also have to take a borrowing within the limit of the consent, means within the permissible limit. You cannot just take loan as much as you want. You have to make all sort of planning in the line, in the case of the public administration from the financial aspect. In spite of all these difficulties, we also take steps to improve the public administration. Each team you are going to discuss in detail, like all those IT, and then how all the services which is rendered to the public. After listening to the keynote address, I have seen that it's a whole government of all the schemes which the government of India has implemented for the benefit of the public. Even in a small state like Mizoram, during these difficult times, since we have a resource crunch, we have to really tighten our budget and then prioritize where we can improve the system. Firstly, yeah, I nearly close anyway. This will be the last portion. See, in spite of difficulties, what I was trying to say is that there are certain improvements, certain steps we can take to improve the system. For the past 2-3 years, in a small state like Mizoram, what we had introduced was early passing of the budget, especially the supplementary budget. You might have seen the change if you compare with the previous years. When we pass the budget early, then it minimizes the marked rush of spending at the back end of the financial year. This really minimizes those less priority areas where we have to spend. We prioritize and then we spend everything before the end of the financial year. Not looking for a fund which is available, but just to exhaust the fund which are allocated. So when we pass it only, then we realize that these are the actual requirements. And then the rest of them, since we do not have that much of fund, either you surrender it or we cut it. We have to take some extreme measures. Secondly, Government of India recently had introduced PFMS system, Public Financial Management System, to monitor the fund flow of the of all the centrally sponsored schemes. Right from Government of India when they release it to the RBI, state government accounts, and then to the implementing agency. So since last year, they were really pursuing it and see that where the fund is available to be spent for the schemes. That is with the implementing agency. So now there is no delay in the fund flow. And then the state government is implementing IFP system, Integrated Financial Management System, which is going on. Around 80% of the modules we have completed, and then after it is fully completed and stabilized, then our financial management system will greatly improve. In spite of the difficulties, there are certain steps which we have to take it. In spite of the resource crunch, we still have to look for a way how to take up certain measures which will finally benefit to the public. So all these things, we have to keep on thinking every day. Maybe even though we may not be the one who actually execute the particular schemes, but that's the importance of the finance side. And let me conclude that I'm very happy today I could be within your midst. Only thing was that I did not realize that to come to the university, it was so difficult due to traffic jam. Partly at my place in Mizoram, the traffic jam was so heavy because lots of schools were there dropping, and then my driver could not come and then pick me up. It took quite some time. Then at 5 o'clock, it took so long, I had to turn and then came in a very much circuitous road. I was wondering the energy, I really appreciate the energy and the strength of all those people who come from that side. I came for one day, and then I was quite I think that's the everyday's job for many of you. So I wish all the best for the ongoing seminar, and then let it be very, very fruitful. And then we are hoping that something good will come out from this seminar. And then we are there in the government to actually implement. Even though I say that what we perceive from outside differs, when we are actually inside, it is always very, very helpful to extray it from outside and then to come up with certain things. And then that is always an aid, a management tool. So I really wish you all the best for the seminar, for these 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Vanlalchhuanga, who is our common friend. Myself, Muthulakshmi, Laltanpuii since Shillong college days. So this is how we go every day. So today we have experienced how to reach Mizoram University. So we can continue our common conversation in future also now. So with the teacher in the university, even in colleges also, we are sitting, we are doing and then carrying the bags with the books and with the same table and same chair and then the same classroom. This is how we actually do our duty every day. So yours must be different from us. Anyway, we are very thankful to you that your speech is very, very, very befitted for us. The reason is that we, the Department of Public Administration, do have a paper on public financial administration that has been taught to the student. Even some scholars also had carried out relating to financial matters in their PhD and MPhil research works. So with these few words, I thank once again. Then I think we need to refresh ourselves now with different, what is called spice or spices. So may I now request our student, Mr. Vanlalchhuanga, we call him, second semester, Department of Public Administration, to give a special item and who is one of the most popular, singer in the state of Mizoram. So may I kindly invite you, Kim Kim Okay, all right. Maybe Kim Kim, I was not informed because he is in this. Anyway, we can proceed further as I hope everybody has the program sheet. So we go not in order of that written form. So with due permission of our Vice Chancellor, and then we got this kind of rearrangement to take the turn of the speeches by our guests. So now let me see, Kim Kima is not here. May I kindly invite Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, who is a special invitee to deliver his lecture. Please, sir.
Very good morning to all of you. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Mr. Deka sir, respected guest of honor, Principal Secretary to the Government of Mizoram, special invitee, Professor Hawk, who is not with us, who is not online, Honorable Vice-Chancellor of one of the universities of Bangladesh, Professor Pathi, respected Dean, Professor Jogi, our dear Head of the Department, Professor Muthulakshmi, Professor Lalneihzovi, Professor the youngest Professor of the Department. It is indeed a great pleasure for me, and I consider it a great honor, to be here again to deliver a sort of special lecture. I find in this auditorium a lot of widely known eminent scholars around. I would like to thank the Department of Public Administration, more particularly the head of the department, for having given me the privilege of coming again and sharing my ideas and thoughts on the status of public administration discipline in India. Professor Pathi has initiated the discussion. Let me take the cue from him and start sharing my observation on some of the important issues that the discipline of public administration is facing at the moment. In fact, sometimes we forget to take note that the role of public administration emerged with the development of the first formal government long ago. I was looking at history to find data. History tells me that in ancient Egypt, pharaohs deployed servants to do their bidding and tax collections to find and manage the flow of resources. That was the beginning of the formal governance. And the first concerted effort to improve the civil service system and the governance management practices started in a country very close to Mizoram, that was in China. It had started off in China, 2nd century BC. And although it is usual to trace the origin of the discipline to the famous essay penned by Woodrow Wilson, recent researches indicate that the journey began little earlier in Europe in the form of public law studies. But the fact remains that it was Woodrow Wilson who had set the tone of the study of public administration, and also the fact remains that the study of public administration initiated by him in USA continued to change itself in keeping with the changes that have taken place in American society, American polity, and American economy. That is the fundamental strength of the discipline in the USA. Here in our country, we have followed the American model as advised by the American scholars in the early years, and we continue to start dancing to the tune set by them instead of trying to develop our own tune in keeping with our tradition, with our culture, with our context. Herein lies the basic crisis of discipline with which we had started, and unfortunately, we have not yet been able to get out of it. The changing context of public administration, both as a discipline as well as a profession, has been a new world. It has been drawing attention of large numbers of scholars around the globe. Recently, I have been in Kazakhstan in a conference which was hosted by the United Nations. They have set up what they call civil service hub to study the civil service reforms around the globe. The implications of social sciences for the world that is changing as a result of globalization and liberalization, in which we should embed G20 perspectives. There has been a major metamorphosis in the global society, economy, and polity. The globalized context has drifted the social science disciplines from their original mandate. Original mandate was to develop philosophical framework and reducing knowledge to a sort of conceptual framework, but we have, as a result of globalization and liberalization, we are moving towards a sort of monochromatic form. Market forces are dictating epistemological agenda and pedagogical concerns. The relatively autonomous position of all social sciences is gradually declining. This changing context is undermining the discipline, our discipline, that is discipline of public administration. The use of the word governance instead of administration has very serious implications, which many of us have failed to take note of. The world is facing a lot of challenges. A vast area of emerging issues around the globe include anti-terrorism wars, natural and human disasters, epidemic diseases, economic crisis, energy and environmental problems. Even problems with the traditional domestic policy realms such as public transportation, information management, defense and security have been pushed across national boundaries by extended privatization and contracting efforts, demanding global perspectives in building knowledge and seeking solutions. Such problems in the public sphere present challenges to the US-centric public administration theories and practices. The emergence of a new world order manifested by the rising power of the European Union and the traditional economies represented by G20 countries suggests the inadequacy and the obsolescence of the American public administration theories and practices. India's development trajectories have passed through three different phases. We started with the growth model called trickle-down model, 1947 to 1969. Then we moved to a model called growth with social justice, 1970-1990. Then economic reforms, 1991 to 2004. Then again another round of economic reforms with human face, 2005 to 2015. And now faster pro-market reformism, which has started off since 2019. Have we been able to respond to the changes of policies that the India had adopted? The answer is emphatic no. Pandemic has challenged the basic foundations of the neoliberal theory of state. The state is back in, and with these tools of public administration have hardly cared to look at the theory of state to understand the changing dynamics of public administration. The government of India in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic had initiated reforms in 2020 to make India self-reliant, Atmanirbhar Bharat, reviving every sphere of the economy and emerging as a hub of manufacturing and investments. In tune with the self-reliant India vision, the central government launched Goti Shakti National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity Project. These and other measures are aimed at promotion of market economy. There is a paradigm shift from public welfare, democracy, popular participation in governance to individual welfare, privatization and disinvestment in public sector. This is the larger scenario within which we have to locate the issues that we need to look for and study closely. I would like to identify where the shoe pinches, and I would like to suggest some ways to look forward. The discipline of public administration to emerge has to be sensitive to the burning social changes and socio-economic development to ensure its social relevance. In our country, neoliberal policy has created problems for the poor, and pandemic has added fuel to the fire. We need to study closely the situations that the poor people are facing and what can the administration do to respond to the challenges they are facing every day in their lives. The discipline in India should grow on cross-fertilization of ideas derived from allied disciplines. A recent survey confirms that the widely accepted view that the discipline has not yet been able to create even an independent space for itself in the household of social sciences. We need to break the bondage of the discipline without cutting its roots. We have to keep in mind that the roots of our discipline lie in the understanding of the state and polity. In our neoliberal system of governance, bureaucracy continues to play a very dominant role. Besides the national capitalist, now bureaucracy has to interact with the international capitalist. New administrative actions called for are required at this moment. These have opened up new vistas and new challenges which need to be carefully studied and understood by the students of political science and public administration. Public administration as a practicing discipline has to reckon with sweeping scientific and technological changes that Professor Pathi was referring to, represented by information and communication technology. Large volumes of data and information can now be processed with amazing speed. The new technologies are enabling governments to encroach upon individual liberty, individual privacy. That has to be looked into by the scholars of public administration. The matter was debated in the floor of the parliament. With the rise of the regulatory state, a new set of institutions have come into being, with which we are not familiar in 1970s, 1980s, even in 2010. Customer groups have been formed. Now citizens are no longer looked at citizens. Citizens are looked at customers because they are a consumer affairs department. Therefore, there has been a new perception about the citizens that has to be studied by the students of public administration. Mention has to be made about the role of biotechnology, which is creating new opportunities for improving life and changing life. Given this scenario, administration is bound to respond to situations. The growing rise of technology in public administration is paving the road for a new concept called electronic governance, apparently to make governance more transparent and accessible. New concepts like collaborative governance are now gathering momentum. The increasing demand of transparency in administrative transactions and the rising tide of ethical governance for promoting good governance have thrown up many new challenges. Right to information has been granted, there is no doubt about that. Judiciary has been very proactive. Society-centered judicial activism has instilled some fear, otherwise anonymous and sheltered bureaucracy. We have to understand that dynamics as well. A close look at the emerging scenario would tend to indicate clearly that India is currently facing the dilemma of externally dictated macroeconomic management and grassroots-inspired micro-space development management. Two kinds of forces unleashed by the emerging dynamics of policy shift seem to be rooted in deregulation at the macro level and community empowerment and participation at the micro level. There is a view that our state sometimes seems to be trying to increase its repressive authority by creating new bodies like, for example, National Counter-Terrorism Center. True it is that terrorism is a matter of global concern. Repressive colonial laws are still in force. The highest judiciary of the country has spoken against the repressive colonial laws. but these laws still exist. We should study the administrative implications of the old laws which have become absolutely irrelevant because of the change of the scenario. Constitutional democracy is facing a number of challenges following increasing criminalization of the political process and dwindling opposition coupled with widespread corruption. The criminals survive in politics. We have to study how do the criminals survive in politics. We have to study how do the criminal influence the administrative processes. We need to study the impact of those forces on the dynamics of governance in our country. Federal issues are now coming into the forefront of our discussion. Yesterday, I read in the newspaper, I read in the morning that the government of India has issued a sort of an ordinance, and that has become an issue of debate in Delhi. Therefore, federal issues also have assumed a new dimension. We need to study the administrative implications of the ordinance and the federal issues that have come up. The new public administration scholars in the USA raised a value question in the 60s of the last century. Time has come to hold a sort of Mizoram conference. I would advise Mizoram Department of Public Administration to take the leadership to hold that conference where we will be discussing about the values we should promote in public administration. We need to have a guru. In fact, new public administration had a guru that was, unfortunately, we don't have that kind of guru that the new public administration scholars could get in the USA. We need to bring together the scholars of public administration and other social sciences to understand the increasing complexities of our administrative processes. The increasingly integrated and invigorated European communities challenge the leading position of the United States of public administration. The extensive experience of the former Soviet administrative systems, striving for democracy and capitalism, is valuable to other transitional and non-democratic states like in Asia, Africa, and South America. The abundant knowledge from e-government development in Singapore, Hong Kong, Korea greatly complement the US and the European experiences. The success story of China's economic development zones, along with coastal areas, also enlighten many of the distressed Western economies. Russia, China, and other traditional democracies like ours can learn from capitalism and public administration in Westminster countries, such as the present and the future public administration in America. Europe can learn from the innovations in China, India, Korea, and other countries. As the time is very short, I would like to conclude my presentation by arguing that in the light of G20 Perspectives, the clarion call is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It appears to be very relevant in the context of the changing role of India today. Thus, it has opened up new vistas in governance on which we can concentrate our attention. Some of the issues like Bhagidari and women empowerment have been figuring in our agenda for research and teaching for some time. Civil society actors are playing a very important role in modern governance, but unfortunately, we the students of public administration have not engaged ourselves in studying the role of civil society in the processes of governance. Now, we need to team up with the scholars of other social science disciplines, including civil society experts, to understand the complexities of modern administrative processes. Our discipline, as a practical discipline in India, is in the crossroads now. We need to give a strong push to make it capable of crossing the roads. We need to join hands with other social science disciplines to remove the barriers on the road and to pave the road for a smooth journey of the discipline in future. We have to accept the hard fact that public administration as an action of the government is a dependent action. It is dependent on the state and politics. We need to anchor our discipline on the theory of state to make our journey fruitful and meaningful. Let us not stop. Let us keep on searching for a guru who would be leading a new team of scholars of public administration in India. who would be steering the way of the new journey that we would like to go for. We have been trying hard for the last few years to find out what the quality of food is. We need to enter into the kitchen where the food is cooked. We need to find out what kind of spices are given to make the food tasty. Otherwise, the discipline of public administration will be facing a very serious challenge in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, for your lecture and a very informative and thought-provoking lecture. Thank you so much. So may we now invite Professor Ajmer Singh, the Vice-Chancellor. Devi Lal University, Devi Lal University. So I have been there in this university also way back in 2011. And they have got a very, good university, a central university, that Choudhary Devi Lal University, located in Sirsa, Haryana, which is actually very remote, they said, by the locals. It is a remote and then nearing bordering to Pakistan. So from far, and he is going to give, a speech to us online. So he is our common friend, and then we keep meeting there in Delhi, there in Hyderabad, many times, even in Pathshala, in PSU works, So I now invite you, please. Take your time, sir.
Thank you very much, and good morning all of you. It's really true that around one corner of the country and on the other corner of the country. I hope I am audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yeah, please. You are audible very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, Vice-Chancellor, Chief Guest, Mizoram University. Professor Vanlalchhuanga, Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Mizoram. Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, Professor Srinibas Pathi, Professor Muthulakshmi, and Professor Lalneihzovi. I'm really thankful to the Department of Public Administration, Mizoram University, Mizoram, that they have invited me for participating in an international seminar on recent trends in public administration, G20 Perspectives. Since I'm the guest of honors and the participants are listening to the scholarly delivery of eminent scholars in the public administration, I'm simply a student of public administration, and as you know, that all of you, not only me, all of you understand that the evolutionary history of the discipline of the public administration, it passed through, it starting from 1887, and then we said that the new public administration era, and then comparative public administration, development administration approach, as well as nowadays we are in the, we said that public administration in a globalized world, rather it is the post-globalized globalized world through which we are passing. Instead of, we say that discussing everything, because many scholars are participating in it and they will deliver on these aspects in a very, we say that, in-depth discussion and debate will be there. That's why I am taking up only one perspective, and particularly that is in the public administration in globalized world. When we say the globalized world, although you understand each and everything, that there is a market orientation of activities, and particularly of economy, but not only economy, also along with economy, there is of regulation also, there is of, we said that regulatory system also. Then there is another important thing that in the post-globalized world or globalized world, there is deregulation, privatization, and it is the withdrawal of state from many activities, particularly the economic activities. There is another important characteristics of this globalized world is that we have integrated our economy with the global economy. This is again an important aspect. And trying to, as public finance talk, there is an emphasis that how we can economize the system or the system delivery, particularly the traditional forms of functions of the state, that is providing services, policy making, and the enforcement of the law, and that has to be changed. And we say that it has to be efficient one, it is to be delivered in an effective and economic manner. How can we do it in a globalized world? No doubt we tried in a globalized world because of the market approach or market economy approach, that many kinds of the reforms, particularly by bringing financial reforms or by removing subsidies, and then again introducing the concept user user-based system, etc. There is again the reforms on the public services. Again, we have to link the promotion and the performance appraisal system, 360-degree appraisal system. That is to make it an effective one or to bring changes in the public services or in the bureaucracy itself. No doubt, we also witnessed during this era, that is the good governance, citizen-centric governance, etc. And nowadays also the new public service kind of the concept has emerged, all because of this globalized and post-globalized, in post-globalized area, starting from the globalized era. And there is a, we say that what is happening? Because of this market economy or this globalized world and the regulation in this globalized world, that is happening all because of the IT. That is the information technology we are using, or we have adopted it in our governance. That has, we say, this IT has, no doubt, globalization has also changed the role of the government particularly. That is in particularly in the service provisions, policy making, as well as in the enforcement of law. That is there. But it has also changed the role of government. That IT has also changed the role of the government in a significant manner. Then again, it has also empowered the citizen. So these are some of the characteristics, or we say that associated with the globalized world, and the role, we say that an effective role is being played by the technology or IT. Rather nowadays we are talking about the artificial intelligence also. This is again an important aspect. And therefore, the emphasis of my talk was that there is a increased digital governance nowadays almost everywhere. And the level of the development maybe in the future that will be assessed based on how much digital governance, or the level of the digital governance, and the efficiency and effectiveness of the digital governance in delivering the services, or in delivering the services, as well as in policy making and enforcement is possible. This is again a very important one. When we talk about the increased digital governance, that means that we need to have a robust digital infrastructure. Nowadays, you will find that the file system and the traditional office system of the public governance, that has been changing. Now it is being replaced with the computer system or the IT. That becomes and the need of the hour, because provisioning of services, and we say that effective policy making cannot be possible without the information generated through the IT, without the feedback system, and so many kinds of the things. And that's why, and when we talk about the infrastructure, it is not only the physical infrastructure, rather we say that we need the skilled officials also to run the government, to run the digital governance. That is an important one. And again, when we talk about this kind of the system, that is the digital, it is not only the adequate also, infrastructure not only adequate also, but it is updated also. Because in the digital governance, the technology is changing day after day. This is so frequent changes are taking place, and we have to be compatible with the updated versions of the technology. This is again an important one. And all of you know that there is always, the government is always slow, particularly, and in that circumstances, it is a challenge for each and every kind of the governance, that is to keep itself updated as per the advancement in IT technology and its implication in the governance. This is again an important one. There is another important thing is that traditional mass mobilization system, or the people participation as we envisaged or visualized in 1950s and 60s in this country, that may not be possible. In that circumstances, it may become a challenging task for the governments particularly, and that is a trade also. In particularly where this IT has been used in the governance, that how to connect with the people. This is again an important one. When we are talking about the connection, it means there are so many kinds of the fake news, particularly the role of the fake news during the election, that has become a worldwide phenomenon, and it is having the negative kind of implications on the system or on the election system. This is again an important one. Not only the negative kind, but it is also we say that it is also eroding the trust of the people in the governmental system. This becomes a challenge one. And there is another important aspect when we talk about the service provisions or policy making or enforcement. We need the data. And how to manage the data. There needs to be an improved data management system. And it should be correctly as well as ethically. This is again an important one. Because the privacy concerns are there, sometimes you find out, as we have witnessed the history of the Aadhaar cards in linking with the, we say that, linking it with your PAN cards, etc. Sometimes the privacy of data, and again, that has been misused by the miscreants and the law violators. This is again an important issue, and for that purpose, the another important thing is when we are talking about the fake news and the incorrect information, and on the basis of that incorrect information, if the policy decisions are taken, definitely those are going to create a problem in the governance. Nowadays, another important aspect, as I have told you earlier also, that artificial intelligence, particularly in delivering the services to the people, that has become the need of the hour. In actual, artificial intelligence and its implication in governance, that has become so important that it can be taught as a separate course in the discipline of public administration and in other disciplines also. The research on this particular aspect that has been undertaken not only by the scholars of the public administration, governance, or political science, but also by the people who are in the technological field also. This is again an important one, particularly the use of artificial intelligence, that is more and much more is used in taking the policy decision, in delivering the services, as well as in trust building. That's an important one. And this is another important thing, that it has been used as a tool. As for example, in India also, Digital India mechanism, and particularly the financial transactions which are taking place. So we have provided the platforms, and we are leading in we say the financial transactions in the world. That's an important aspect, and that's why using artificial intelligence in delivering services, that is an important one. And this is the trend which is likely to be here. I would like to say with you that this kind of the trend or this kind of trend is not emerged only in the last decade or so. Since 1960s onwards, this is being discussed, but mostly the development has taken place in the last 2 decades only. And when we are using the IT in governance, definitely cyber security is a challenge, and that is again how to deal with that. The cyber security, again, we in India do not have that kind of the skilled manforce for dealing with that kind of activities. Maybe the financial era, maybe in economy, maybe any kinds of things, because the propaganda, particularly by the vested interest, and that is a challenge, and we say the privacy, and again stealing data and then misusing it, and you will find that there are so many gangs relating to the engaged in the financial frauds. That is an important one. We have not been, particularly if we take into consideration in Indian context, we have not been able to deliver this kind of the courses or the academic programs in an effective way, and to produce the workforce of that level. Not up to that kind of the cyber security measurements are required at all levels, and that's why we have to prepare the workforce accordingly from the ground level to up to the highest level. That kind of the system is there. No doubt some of the private agencies, those are coming up and offering some kinds of the help to the university system so that they can train the people in that direction. But again, particularly if taken into consideration the state university, it may not be possible for each and every kind of higher educational institution to start up, because that requires the funding and understanding also. This is again important one. And there is another important thing when we are using this kind of technology in the governance, and we say that the resourcefulness depends upon that the level of digital literacy you have, particularly community, individual, and the area also. And that's why the diversity, equality, and inclusion that becomes important. It is not the economic criteria which is important to have to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion. Digital literacy, or the knowledge of the use of IT in governance and how to use, because everything is being offered or delivered through the platform, and it may not be possible for the common citizen, or we say that a digitally illiterate person to utilize all those services. Means in that circumstances it becomes there should be renewed efforts on the part of the government or on the part of the stakeholders, all stakeholders, that we may able to work out on those programs so that we can have the diversity, equity, and inclusion in all aspects of life, particularly while dealing with governance. This is again an important aspect. And lastly, I would like to say that we need an agile administration. Means the administrative system of the governance, it is to be rapid one, it is to deliver in a rapid manner, it should be the flexible to incorporate all kinds of interest and all kinds of individuals, and it should be the mission-driven governance. That is important, and that if we use it in a very positive and constructive manner, only then we will may be able to we can rebuild the trust in the government, which is lacking nowadays, and because of the use of technology also, and because of the expectation of the masses from the state or from the government also. This is something which is an important one, and I consider that this is the current trend that is an important one in public administration and as well as in Indian administration. Thank you again, and for inviting me and for giving patience listening to me. And I wish that this academic event may go successfully with best wishes. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Choudhary Devi Lal University, Sirsa, Haryana. So your speech is very, very insightful, sir, and very thought-provoking, especially at the event of this IT. So since India is becoming most populous countries in the world, populous country in the world, then the challenges and issue of this very IT would be really, really very actually pertinent for even academicians to dwell into. So thank you for that very befitting speech, sir. So our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka has been patiently waiting, and he would really spare his valuable time. We know that he is very busy and with the neck deep works to actually carry out in his dignified office, but he is giving us such a very, very valuable time. We are too grateful to him. So before we call him, then one of the most important items is to be performed. Then that is felicitation and release of some one souvenir, and I think one journal that has been published by the Department of Public Administration, Administrative Studies, and the prize distribution that has been given out by the Department of Public Administration in the name of Brillantes Sharma, the wife of the first Vice-Chancellor of Mizoram University and the founder of the Department of Public Administration, the founder, Professor, I should say. So let me request Dr. Laltanpuii to conduct the process. I don't know how it is to be done, and whatever that the implication, you may also take it. Please kindly come forward, please.
Also, for the felicitation of the meritorious students of public administration, this is a sum that has been donated by Professor Arvind K. Sharma, the first Vice-Chancellor of Mizoram University. So, but two of the students from first semester have apologized because one is out of station and one has got some health issues. So we will be giving it to the students who have passed out the second semester and who have had outstanding results in their second semester examination of July 2019. The first, may I kindly invite the Vice-Chancellor to hand over the prizes and the head of department to kindly assist. The first person is Ms. Hildara Rentuami with a grade point of 7.364. Second person, Jonathan Vanlalchhuanga with a grade point of 7.364, similar grade points. All three have got the same grade points. Arla Renthama, 7.364 grade points. Thank you so much, sir. Now for the release of the journal, for the release of the journal, I request the Vice-Chancellor to kindly release the Journal Social of the Department of Public Administration. The journal is called Administrative Studies. Now may I request Professor Lalneihzovi to kindly assist with the release of the souvenir by the guest of honor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laltanpuii Ralte, Associate Professor, Department of Public Administration, for smoothly conducting the very, very important item. So now we will go to the next, proceed further to the next item. That now we are going to invite Professor Alex B. Brillantes, Emeritus, former, then Dean, UP Scientist, National College of Public Administration and Governance, University of Philippines, that is in Manila.
Dear friends, good morning from Philippines, for the Eastern Regional Organization for Public Administration is located, and I'm very happy to be with you today. Of course, I'm grateful to Professor Muthulakshmi of Mizoram University, and of course to Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, who invited us to be part of this very, very important work. Today, dear friends, I'll talk to you about some of the emerging trends in teaching and research in public administration. And we zero in on a model, a framework that we have developed over the past years, which we call the 5 E's in the name. I must say that the 5 E's in the name, which refers to economy, efficiency, effectiveness, and equity and ethics and accountability, really goes back to the basics of public administration. But equally important, also points out some of the emerging trends, emerging important trends in the study of public administration. And without being presumptuous, I would like to let you know, dear friends, that this was published in the Global Encyclopedia for Public Administration, edited by a good friend of ours. His name is Professor Ali Farasman, the editor, and I'm happy to say too, you can download the article there from the Global Encyclopedia for Public Administration, edited by Professor Ali Farasman. Where I'm coming from, I'm actually, this emerging trends in public administration are really based on, I've been an academic for over 40 years now. I was once a relatively high minister in government. I was a deputy minister of our Commission for Higher Education, and also I was also director, assistant director, or assistant minister of the Ministry of Interior and Local Government. So I was immersed in governance for quite 10 years, over a decade. But most of my life I've been academic. So some of my friends at one point described me as a academic. I'm not being presumptuous, but I thought that is quite nice. So what I'll talk about really is some of the emerging trends, but it's very, very equally important that we look at the basics of public administration. And you and I know difference. I know that there's the history of public administration has really emerged from the West, and that is so true in most of us, including the Philippines. It has really had a lot of Western influence, especially American influence. It's within the context that we have a lot of subfields: organization management, personal administration, fiscal administration, local government. But it's equally important to note that as it has evolved, there were some issues and concerns that included how to localize, how to indigenize, how to have, in the Philippines, how to have a variation of instead of Philippine public administration. We also suffered our own kinds of identity crisis. But as it evolved, it's very important also to note that some of the trends, there were some new trends and new fields perhaps that emerged, and these are, as you might call some of the trends, importance of recognize, is there an indigenous government? Is there an Indian public administration? Is there a Pakistani administration? Is there a Bangladeshi public administration? Point, is there a Philippine public administration? Influence of the West, but hey, we have to come up with indigenous for it to become relevant to the particular context. So it's in this context that some of the trends that have emerged, voluntary sector management, public-private partnership as a result of new public management, of course, the whole issue of spatial information management, urban management, and of course, futures thinking, which is also very much part of the global trend in public administration, and of course, this whole notion of digital governance. The whole idea difference is you have the traditional things of public administration, then you have the emerging trends, and equally important, how do you indigenize this? How do we localize this? So the first part of my presentation, very quickly, will be to say, let's not forget the basics. When we talk about public administration, we talk about three E's: administration, management, economy, efficiency, effectiveness. These are things that are, some would say, the science of public administration. So some of you, one of yourself, has covered the so-called post-record, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, reporting, budgeting. These are things that are in public administration that are universal in the science of administration. The first is economy, efficiency, and effectiveness. But what I would like to emphasize is really the other two E's, and these are equity and ethics and accountability. When we talk about equity and ethics and accountability, it is very, very important to say public administration is not all about management, it's about asking the question, for whom is public administration? And when we talk about equity, we have to emphasize the importance to focus on the poor, the marginalized, the vulnerable, according to SDGs. In the Chandra Governance Index, they talk about, it's actually the 7th or 8th pillar. It talks about those who are less than that should have more than enough. It is this. When we talk about equity, as I mentioned, it's the question of for whom is public administration. We talk about the public administration should be the last, the least, and the lost. And the Chandra Index says the nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest ones, but its lowest ones. Difference when we talk about public administration, when we talk about public, we talk about the importance of focusing on those who are vulnerable. And that's what equity is all about. The other dimension of equity difference is what we call intergenerational equity. Intergenerational equity. Point difference, it is not only about this generation, we have to talk about the next generation. Given the so-called volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, given what Professor Pansukin once called brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible world, we have to think of the equity dimension. Because as we look at this, many others are also being left behind, the other notion of equity. But equally important, we talk about for whom, what kind of a world are we leaving the next generation, given this VUCA world, given this Bali world. So when we talk about intergenerational equity difference, we talk about the next generation, we talk about our friends, we talk about our children, we talk about our grandchildren. Someone once said, plant a tree whose shape you will never know. Plant a tree whose shape you will never know. In other words, dear friends, in public administration, we just don't think about the present, we talk about the next generation. And that is what intergenerational equity is all about. So when we talk about the 5 E's in the day, we talk about ethics, accountability, the last E's, the last E and A, I'm sorry. And this is what it's all about. It's not negotiable. And corruption that occurs in many parts of the world. given the lack of values and integrity, we have to focus on the importance of ethics and accountability. And that is what the last 2 E's of what the 5 E's in the A is concerned. And it was Jimmy Carter, whose slide I'm showing on, who said, we must adjust to changing times and hold to unchanging principles. And unchanging principles are ethics and accountability and honesty and integrity. In spite of the many changes in the world today, there are certain things that are not negotiable. And that is what ethics and accountability is concerned. I must say, dear friends, that our 5 E's in an A framework, you know what 5 E's in an A? I said economy, efficiency, and effectiveness, which focuses on the management side. Equally important, we have to focus on equity. For whom? Equity for the next generation, equity for the vulnerable. But equally important, ethics and accountability is not negotiable. And if you look at the principles of effective governance as defined by the Committee of Experts of Public Administration, these are essentially reaffirming our own framework of the 5 E's in an A. What are these? They talk about effectiveness, competence, sound policymaking, and collaboration. They also talk about accountability, integrity, transparency, independence, oversight. And equally important, the public side. The public side, leaving no one behind, non-discrimination, participation, subsidiarity, and intergenerational equity. And these are the principles of effective governance as defined by the Committee of Experts of Public Administration. I must say, dear friends, that our own 5 E's in an A is aligned to that of the effective governance for sustainable development as defined by the Committee of Experts of Public Administration. And of course, these are all aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And if you look at it, these include poverty and very much cutting across this will be the 5 principles of economy, efficiency, effectiveness. Remember, it's about competence, but equally important for whom, who is your public, and that is what SDGs are all about. So in sum, dear friends, public administration is in constant flux. Our topic today, what are the emerging trends? The trends have to be located within the context of public administration being in constant flux. It's very dynamic. The tension between the Western influence that public administration has emerged from, but equally important, how does this fit into the local culture? But equally important, we are now part of a global world, but how do we localize it? So we talk about the importance of globalization. Globalization. Are we now going through our own identity crisis? Perhaps we are also going through our own identity crisis. It's within this context that when we teach public administration, when we do research for public administration, we recognize the trends. And what are the trends? As I mentioned earlier, they include digitalization. They include the importance of leaving no one behind. But let us not forget the basic. We are still administration, we are still in management. But as I mentioned, do not forget the vulnerable. That's part of the SDGs. And do not forget that we are here for the next generation. All of this, very, very important. Ethics and accountability is not negotiable. Ethics and accountability is not negotiable. Integrity should be core of public administration. So dear friends, we talk about public administration in a trends in a book world. We talk about vulnerable, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. But in public administration, I think public administration should lead the way towards from volatility to a vision, from uncertainty to understanding, from complexity to clarity, and from ambiguity to agility. And perhaps the 5 E's in an A can lead us towards that direction. And I would like to thank you now for this opportunity to participate in this very, very important forum of yours. Thank you, Professor Muthulakshmi, for this opportunity, and congratulations to Mizoram University. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Alex, the Brillantes University of Philippines, for giving the pre-report talk on this. But at the same time, I'm really sorry that it is not in the original program that SR is holding. So I apologize on behalf of the Department of Public Administration, but still then we would like to hear him because it is international seminar physically, even though they cannot come. So you please kindly bear with us, sir. So you have been waiting. Our Honorable Vice-Chancellor has been waiting patiently since the beginning. just before 10 in the morning, and we are very lucky to have him in our midst and praising this very occasion. That with great difficulty the department has actually carried out this assignment, and under the leadership of Professor Muthulakshmi, this program has been conducted today and will continue tomorrow. So let me invite our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, who is also a chief guest of this very 2 days international seminar on recent trends in public administration, G20 Perspectives. So thank you so much.
Namaskar, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'll say that there is nothing to apologize to the head of the department, means head of the family. Okay, I consider myself as of now head of the family. So, any other member within the family don't have to apologize to the head of the family. He has to always bear with all the members to keep them happy and comfortable. Ladies and gentlemen, apart from our own dignitaries here, like Chairperson Professor Lalneihzovi and Head of the Department of Public Administration, Professor Muthulakshmi, Senior Professor Professor Srinibas Pathi, other professors and students, we have a few dignitaries from abroad and other part of the country, like Pu Vanlalchhuanga, Principal Secretary, Finance Department, Government of Mizoram. We have with us Professor Prabhat Kumar Datta, who was the former Centenary Chair of Public Administration, Department of Political Science, University of Calcutta. We had online Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, Vice-Chancellor, Choudhary Devi Lal University, Haryana. We also have Professor Brillantes, National College of Public Administration, University of Philippines, and there may be other dignitaries as well present here. On behalf of the Mizoram University, I welcome our guests and especially and all other participants, my colleagues here present. First of all, I must thank the Department of Public Administration for organizing this seminar, and on the occasion publishing two volumes of books. One is the peer-reviewed annual journal of the Department, Administrative Studies, and another is the souvenir. These things goes well in the record of the department for future generations or for times to come. And on the same occasion, I will request the department, if possible, to also make some collective volumes of their publication. Normally what happens, every year our teachers, it's not only for public administration department, but also other departments equally applicable. Many often I have seen we publish, our colleagues in the department publish research papers, and then we forget about that. And we have to look on the internet, or if sometime I want to refer, I want to review, then I have to go to internet. Instead of that, if every year, annually, our publications are converted into a bound volume collectively, collect the copies from the colleagues, members of the department, research scholars, and bound them together, keep in the departmental library, so that anybody can very quickly go into the library, see what are my former teachers, friends, maybe after 10 years, 20 years, what did they do, what did they publish, and that can be a very good record in the history of the departments. That is also my request. Anyway, as you know, I don't have any formal education in public administration. I am a person of chemistry, but still you have invited me as the chief guest. I am honored for that. I am here and to speak something to you, and you are here to listen to me. So I feel I must have something to share with you. I cannot simply 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever you are allowing me. I cannot make that 5-10 minutes. I cannot afford to make it waste. So I must have something to share with you, since you are waiting willingly or unwillingly to listen to me. But I must have something to share with you, so that you feel that your time you have spent here did not go waste. It is good. First of all, we are here to discuss an important topic in this international seminar, Recent Trends in Public Administration, G20 Perspectives. Fine. But first of all, let me share my views. What I think about, my personal view completely. You may have your own views, but I have what kind of view I have about this kind of seminar, whether national, international, or this kind of workshop. What is my views? I have never talked to you, so let me talk first. My view is that this kind of seminar or workshop should not be like a meeting, patient going to meet the doctor. It should not be like that. What happens when a patient goes to meet a doctor? They have a meeting discussion, and the patients swallow the tablet, whatever prescribed. There is no question from the patient. Why I should swallow this tablet and capsule? Whatever doctor prescribed, patient has to swallow that, whether you like or not. But this kind of workshop seminar should not be like that. Here, nobody is doctor, nobody is patient. Okay? And experts may be learned person, but still they should not escape without a question from the audience. There may be whatever high knowledge they may have, or they may have very vast knowledge, but still their knowledge is questionable. That should be kept in mind of the audience. So audience, whether who are maybe students or other learned person on the other side, they should always be ready to question the experts. Definitely this kind of workshop will be meaningful. Otherwise, this will be like simply a meeting of the patient with the doctor. Okay, whatever experts say, you swallow and leave the meeting and go. And then it will be simply, I don't think it will be fruitful. So it should be a different kind of meeting. As I told, everybody must have, since you are here spending your time, mind that it is my time. It is your time. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days. It is your time. This is part of your life. So why should you spend with? If you don't find that it is useful, you question. So speak something. We should be happy. We want to learn from you. I did not understand that. Can you please explain? But if you simply keep sitting, do not have any question, then you are wasting your time, I feel. And if you are so learned, then you don't have to sit here. You go to research laboratory, do something here, or go to library, read another book. Why you should be sitting here? You want to learn from the expert. So question him. Second point is that our latest talk, that recent trends in public administration. And there are many themes, sub-themes. It is, of course, it is there. But at the heart of all these sub-themes or themes, whatever it may be, we are talking about, what you will be talking about, expert, keynote speaker has talked about. There may be themes, sub-themes, many things. But at the heart, I feel there is only one core issue. A administrator, our secretary will agree with me, a public administrator should always think as one of the societies. One of you means society, people of the society, public. And one of the public, and secondly, for the society. If the administrator think about, learn about I am one of the public and I am always for the public, then everything will be sorted out. Accordingly, you will work. If the Mizoram University finance officer think that I am the finance officer, university money is at my hand. No, it is not his money. It is the money of the university. He is only caretaker. He is only watchdog for the money, not his money. If Vice-Chancellor think about I am the supreme power, I can dictate anything to my colleagues, professors, students. No, it is not like that. I am here supposed to supervise, guide whether things are going in the right direction. If anything wrong, I must discuss with my colleagues. But because I am one of the professors, and at my disposal there are 300, 400 professors in the university. They are no less than me. Yesterday I was a professor, today Vice-Chancellor. And you, another professor can be Vice-Chancellor tomorrow. So that thing I must keep in mind. That is, I am one of my colleagues. And accordingly I must function. So I am not the supreme authority. You may think about, but I don't think about that. That I am not the supreme authority. I have to move, lead from the front, along with taking all my colleagues, friends, along with me. Then I will be a successful administrator. Well, the second thing that G20 perspective, some of my speakers that have mentioned also, all of you know about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means Indian ethos, one earth, one family. Now here in this text, where should I start then? If I learn public administration, where should I start? Should I start at the top? That means one earth. Then I go to the family, one family, at the bottom. Or should I start at the bottom, one family, my family, that is part of the global family. My family is also part of the global family. So where should I start? From my family to the global family? Or I should start global family, then come to my family? What is your views on that? If you want to ask me, I will say that I will start learning public administration from my family. Because in my family, I have my parents, I have my brothers, I have my sisters, I have my son, daughter-in-law, I have my daughter, son-in-law. Everything is there in my family. If I learn to deal each of them, I learn to make all of them happy, then I will be a good administrator tomorrow in the public. If I cannot deal with my son, son-in-law, daughter, daughter-in-law, all these things, if I cannot deal, if I do not respect my parents, I do not respect my neighbor, then tomorrow as an IAS officer or a civil servant, I don't think I will be successful. I did not learn anything in the family, and tomorrow I may have a very brilliant brain, I passed the examination I did. I don't think I will be successful in the public administration. So let us learn from the family. Let us teach the students that you start learning from the family. And slowly things will be complicated. Family, then neighbor, then village, then town, then state, then country, and then the global. Without knowing my family, if I start at the global family, I will have a miserable life. I don't think I will be successful. So, with these few words, I think I respect you all, learned person. Why should I unnecessarily speak a lot of things and waste your time? So, whatever I have to say, I have expressed my views, shared with you. It is up to you to accept or comment on all these things. This is purely my personal view. Thank you very much, and thank you the Department of Public Administration giving me this opportunity. Thank you all. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dibakar Deka, for giving us such a very practical speech. And I really note down those points, even though it's not a very long points, but I have noted down. I should really hear this one. Okay. So I'm so thankful to you, sir, for having such a very kind patience, from the beginning till the end, and sparing your valuable time for the Department of Public Administration. We are too very grateful, and such very encouraging speech that has been given by you also will be carried by all of us, sir. So I know now we are going to come to an end anyway. We still have got two, small, not exactly small, important items. So one is Chairman's remark, and then the special item, Intiba, has come. So we will invite after the Chairman's remark, then vote of thanks with that, and then this inaugural session will be over. I will take only 3 minutes. So, sir has mentioned that our Honorable Vice-Chancellor said that I am one of the public, I am also for the public. It is true, because public administration as an activity has been in existence since time immemorial, since the beginning of ancient civilization. It is true, but it is, as an academic, it's not too old, it is 150 years old only. This public administration, and our keynote speaker, even a special guest also had mentioned that, originated this public administration as a subject study in the West, especially in US origin. So it was Woodrow Wilson who published his famous article, The Study of Administration, way back in 1887. So that one was the beginning of the subject teaching. Then it was very much actually influenced by the American literature also. But lately, in the beginning of 20th century, this subject has become very, very popular. So Wilson had stressed, of course, politics administration dichotomy. But as the time passes, politics administration dichotomy is not possible. So administration and politics has to go hand in hand. They have to supplement one each other. So that idea, politics administration separation, has been pushed to the back here, and the idea of politics and administration has to go hand in hand, or complete dichotomy is not possible. That we come to know. Then there is, this is really more for after the Second World War. We know that, because of this, the new public administration came into being. Our special guest had also mentioned, even our Emeritus people also had mentioned to online. Then new public management emerged, that responsive and efficient government with transparency are the central theme, even though there are many other important things. So coming to the 21st century, that further this century opens with more, what we call it, the new shift to deepen democracy, even development, then governance. So governance has been talked about. That governance actually implies many things also, inclusive, good governance, e-governance, many things. Then, under the influence of this notion, India had a U-turn in 1991 when new economic policy was formulated on the floor of parliament during Manmohan Singh period. So then this actually democracy and development must be seen as closely linked to each other. That is how the government of India also actually keep formulating toward this end. Anyway, some highlights I would like to share with you. Highlighting the cost of the governance in India may be shared with you as per the Public Affairs Center, Bangalore, survey in 24 states of India. Their findings are very, very alarming. So only 13% are satisfied with the public health system, even though India is trying to improve very much. Then less than 10% content with the public distribution system. Then barely 16% are satisfied with the teacher in government schools. Then just 5% are satisfied with public toilets in public places. Then only a fifth are satisfied with public transport system. Then there are many more, of course. So those very few lines indicators are also really very, very important. And then therefore India has to do and abide as far as possible, keeping in view of this fact. So understanding basic state capacity, that is Millennium Development Goals, then understanding the Indian model of governance, then Indian democratic experiences, that is theoretical aspects, inputs, then public governance agenda, that is the relevance of state-citizen partnership, that is Hart-Tierney paradigm. Then come to this sustainable development goals also. Based on this highlighted few points, the 2 days international seminar hopefully is expected to dwell into these pertinent areas. So I wish, all the paper presenters and all the participants to have a very fruitful discussion. And I once again thank to our honorable, my utmost thanks and sincerest thanks goes to our Honorable Vice-Chancellor for raising this very important occasion of the Department of Public Administration and other dignitary and special invitees and all the participants and all the ladies and gentlemen. I actually thank you, each and every one of you, on behalf of the chair of this very session for paying your full attention also. Thank you so much once again. Then let me invite Kim Kima to present a special item that will follow with a vote of thanks from Dr. Sadashivam, co-organizer. Please.
I'm presenting a song. I bet Sarbabu knows this song. Musu musu hasi, diu malai lai. Musu musu hasi deu. Zara muskura de, zara muskura de. Khushi, gambat le tu apne, humse dule hasi. Ho gaye hum ab tere, humse dule hasi. Musu musu hasi, diu malai lai. Musu musu hasi deu. Zara muskura de, zara muskura de. खुशी जावा दिल की राहों में जैसे खिलती है कली तेरे होठों पे बसी ऐसी हल्की सी हंसी जावा दिल की राहों में जैसे खिलती है कली तेरे होठों पे बसी ऐसी हल्की सी हंसी मुसु मुसु हंसी दिल मलाई लाई मुसु मुसु हंसी देव जरा मुस्कुरा दे जरा मुस्कुरा दे Thank you.
Respected chairman for the inaugural session, chief guest, guest of honor, special invitee, keynote speaker, other esteemed delegates and faculty on the dais and off the dais, and PhD scholar, Chibai, Namaste, and very good afternoon to all. As you know, we are end of this inaugural session of the two-day international seminar on recent trends in public administration, G20 Perspectives. So it's my duty on behalf of the Department of Public Administration to thank all those people who basically helped us to make this auspicious beginning. And firstly, I would like to thank the chairman of this inaugural session, Professor Lalneihzovi, the Dean, School of Social Science and faculty also, for accepting our invitation to chair this session. Thank you, ma'am. And next, I would like to thank the welcome address given by our head of the department and the convener of the seminar, Professor Muthulakshmi, madam. Thank you, ma'am, for that. And next, our today's chief guest, Hon'ble Vice-Chancellor, sir, Professor Dibakar Chandra Deka, sir, who is doing a very huge support to our department also, as all of you know that our university is organizing G20 seminar, almost all the departments. So without the financial support from the university, so it may not be possible for us. So the primary financial support is from the university. So for that, sir, we are really thankful to the university also and for you also. And our guest of honor, Pu Vanlalchhuanga, Indian Audit and Account Service Officer, his presence here today being a very invaluable support for us, and the way he has given insight about, especially about the practical information about the Indian administrative services and all, how Indian administration is working, that really very, insightful, sir, for us. Thank you for that. Then the special invitee for this seminar, starting from Prabhat Kumar Datta, sir. Again, he talked about how this public administration subject has evolved from the improvisation time till now, and how it can be helpful for the development of the people. So again, sir, it's a very enlightening for us, for all the audience here. Thank you for that. And our second special invitee, Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, sir, Vice-Chancellor, Choudhary Devi Lal University, Sirsa, Haryana. Again, sir has talked about the relation between public administration and globalization and how the technology is influencing in governance. So again, we are very thankful to Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, sir. In spite of his busy schedule and all, being a Vice-Chancellor, as all of us know, even then he was patiently waiting for attending this inaugural session, and he enlightened us so much. So thank you so much, Professor Ajmer Singh Malik, sir. We are very fortunate to listen to you while online, sir. Thank you so much. Then I would like to thank the other special invitee from University of Philippines, Professor Alex Brillantes. So again, Professor Alex has talked about the relation between the teaching and research in public administration and linking with SDGs as a very important component. Again, we are thankful to him, although he may not lively, he could not do, but still is recording the video. We understood that we thought it's like a live for us. So in that way, we are very thankful to Professor Alex also. Yes, and also the seminar will not be possible without the constant support, especially from our department faculties, be it a junior teacher or a senior teacher. So, and the central force, of course, that behind all this is our HOD ma'am. So we are really thankful for all the faculty members of the department, and led by Madam Muthulakshmi madam. And we are also grateful, especially to our sponsors, namely UDPA and Samagra Shiksha, Mizoram Rural Bank, Mizoram Watershed Development Agency, and I think in this all itself, I think there are representative office bearers are there. Pu Zela is also there, a deputy director from UDPA, and also Pu Zedir is there, Mizoram Watershed Development Agency. So we are really thankful to all the sponsors. Without them, this seminar may not be possible. So thank you so much for all the sponsors. Again, special thanks to Professor Gaikwad, sir, from History Department, because he is the one, he was helping us here in the department, especially about ICT and all. So we really thankful to sir. Special thanks to you, sir. Then all the paper presenters, as all of you know, Madam already said in the welcome speech, we received around 69 papers, but presented 63. And all the paper presenters who are online and offline, we are really thankful, because without you, this seminar cannot be conducted, or we are not going to conduct. So thankful to all the paper presenters, and also the special item by Kima. That is also a very wonderful for enlightening for all of us, the music. Last but not least, the relentless hard work and the
something discussed.
Okay, so sorry for that, and also all the faculties from other departments, heads, and from other departments, from other schools, and we are really thankful to all of you, for especially pole science, social work, history, geography, then library science, then commerce, Dean sir from the commerce department, SEMI, then Ramakrishna sir is also there, Reddy sir is also there. I can't name everyone, but Vidwani sir is also there, management, and also Robin sir, Sati sir, and Pathi sir. I mean, everyone was there, so I'm really apologize if I could not spell out anyone because of shortage of time. And we are really thankful to everyone. And as I said, this the relentless hard work and the tireless efforts of all our PhD scholars, especially, and also the non-teaching staff, Ricky and Madam Vicky. Thank you to all of you. And again, I would like to thank everyone and looking forward for this fruitful deliberation in this coming 2 days, today and tomorrow. And let's see how we will go about this. And hopefully this seminar can be, at least we can come out with something new in the field of public administration. Thank you all. Thank you.